own part in having a direct impact on Islamophobia. For example, I was at a university yesterday speaking about Islamophobia in particular, and
Hello and welcome to Leeds Student Television's broadcast for this week.
And this week you are witnessing history right here with us.
For the first time on Leeds Student Television, we have two male presenters.
Yes.
Pushing boundaries. Oh, that was great. So, coming up on today's show, we have loads of great stuff for you.
Yes, we've got debate highlights, we've got What the Fork. Featuring a documentary on a man with forks for hands.
It's going to be an absolutely brilliant show. We have so much stuff coming up. But first, we're going to go to our news programme, named The Essential, where they are going to be going through some of the latest news and happenings in Leeds and elsewhere at the moment.
I can't wait to see what's going on this week. I love finding out what's happening in the uni. I never feel like I'm in the loop, and then I go to The Essential and it's all good again.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be great. But before then, Carl, I've just got to point out your jumper.
Yes, you can point out my
It's
jumper.
one of the favourite things that I've seen today. I thought I was festive, and then I saw you. Absolutely brilliant.
You're just not festive enough, unfortunately, because I've worn this one. We're getting Christmassy already. Have you got advent calendars and everything?
I have. Anyway, now we're going over to The Essential here on Leeds Student Television.
Welcome to this week's Essential. I'm Rosa Dodd.
And I'm Tom Goodwin. The headlines this week.
A University of Leeds medical student saves the life of an elderly man on board a flight to Belfast. When the air hostesses requested whether there was a doctor on board, Liam McNaffin put himself forward to help the individual. The man was later taken to hospital for further aid.
And coming up in the rest of today's show, The Essential is going to be shedding light on Theresa May's new counter-terrorism and security bill.
We get a gritty debate regarding the marking boycott over lecturers' pensions.
And The Essential question is going to be looking into whether students agree if Black Friday is a good way to be spending your money this festive season.
And finally, we have a look at what's in store with the weather this week.
But firstly, the Home Secretary, Theresa May, has announced a new counter-terrorism and security bill in light of a heightened terrorism crackdown. However, there's been some debate as to how she came to this decision. Shay Collins has been digging to find out whether people believe the new bill is a constructive act by the Conservative Party or whether it's a knee-jerk reaction to a rise in Islamophobia.
Home Secretary Theresa May released a speech regarding the new counter-terrorism and security bill. This includes requirements that schools and colleges provide help to prevent people being radicalised. However, there are some that are concerned that Theresa May's bill is no more than a knee-jerk reaction to the rise of Islamophobia. Shay Collins reports.
As far as Islamophobia is concerned, there is without a doubt that current counter-terrorism legislation post-2005 in Britain has played its own part in having a direct impact on Islamophobia. For example, I was at a university yesterday speaking about Islamophobia in particular, and there was a young man who had questions around Islamic theology and Islamic ideology and the international dimension as far as Muslims are concerned and terrorism is concerned. Those kind of subjects are no longer being discussed because people are so risk-averse about discussing subjects around kind of international issues, around issues which might be slightly controversial. I mean, how often universities are supposed to be a place where you can explore radical ideas and talk about tough subjects? How often are universities having talks about the pros and cons, not necessarily the pros and cons, but kind of, you know, about the international arena, about how Muslims are seen globally, about issues concerning foreign policy, and those kind of conversations are now being taken offline, which makes it even more dangerous.
Islamophobia may have a link to the counter-terrorism bill. However, there are some that are concerned that the bill itself will encourage terrorists instead of deferring them.
By isolating supposed terrorists, dependent on so-called evidence which she may be getting, it's kind of like she's creating a scapegoat, she's isolating them, and she's taking them out of a community of people in the most weirdest sense, because that is what actually a terrorist would want, is a rift. And that's what she's creating, is a deeper rift between two communities.
Until the bill has been set for a period of time, it is unknown whether the UK has built a wall against terrorists.
Lecturers across the country have committed to a marking boycott against the change of their future pensions. At Leeds University Union, Mark Taylor-Batty answers questions and defends this decision.
The proposed changes to the pension schemes are clearly quite drastic. So do you want to begin by just telling us a little bit more about the proposals?
Absolutely, yeah, and I'll give you a little bit of context to the background of that. As many of you may know, we in the UK are the second worst paid academics in the English-speaking world, and New Zealand is the worst. We've put up with a 15% reduction in our take-home pay over the last 5 years. And many of us have put up with that because we know that we've got a fairly decent pension. Now they're coming and taking away from our pension. There's a question as to what's the point of doing this quite high-pressured, high-stress job in those circumstances.
A couple of independent reports have come out in favour of the union. The Times Higher Education said that academics, like Mark mentioned, might lose up to £20,000 a year with these cuts to pensions. But do you feel that most students understand why you're taking this action? Even though you've explained that background, do you feel they understand why you've chosen a marking boycott as your form of industrial action rather than a strike?
We have those discussions amongst ourselves. When we were balloted on whether we would take part in a strike as well as a marking boycott. So we do have a mandate to go on strike if needs be. We opted to take a marking boycott because, in fact, a strike and a series of strikes are much more disruptive. They take you out of the classroom, they take you out of lecture theatres, they actually get in the way of the process of a curriculum.
Hi, I'm Torge. My question is about all the international students affected by this. It seems to me, as a school rep for a lot of international students, that international students come from very different backgrounds and have very different ways of understanding the conflict. A lot of the students don't come from systems where conflicts like these are usual. Do you think you could do any more to communicate to these students why they aren't getting their marks?
We do everything we can to communicate with students. That one of the problems we've got is that we don't have an email address for all students. We're not allowed to do that. And so all we can do is I can send out messages to union members and recommend that they send them to their students. One of the things that concerns us about international students, of course, is that some people are here on visas. And so there's a limit to the point at which they need their results and what have you. And what I would say is that even though the boycott is meant to behave 100% the same everywhere, that people are employing discretion in some areas. And and that's just down to the individual at different times. So, for example, students that have got PhD vivas with only a month left on their visa, it would be very hard for the boycott to be sustained in those kinds of contexts. But of course, it's the threat of the boycott being sustained that has the effect, that has the impact. So it's a matter of balancing some very, very difficult ethical decisions that have to be made. So even though the boycott is theoretically blanket, we have to make a balanced approach in each and every instance. Because at the end of the day, it's about putting pressure on and making that pressure effective. It's not about being punitive, it's not about punishing, it's not about trying to hurt students. It's, on the contrary, we would like students to support us. So we need to have a kind of give and take on a lot of those issues.
I think communication would ensure that more students do support your action, because if they don't understand why, as you've explained to us here, but look, the small portion of the university that's come, and I think if maybe they understood the background reasons, they would be more likely to support it, and then maybe that could get an end to the boycott sooner for us.
I agree.
Hello, I'm Ramon. I was just wondering, if it does take a prolonged amount of time for this boycott to achieve its means, will it then be recognised the effect that it might have directly on students' grades? So will there be mitigating circumstances? Will it be recognised that, for example, I've had no feedback this year and may then have to go into my exams not knowing what grade I'm at? Will there be any means of addressing that?
Yes, it should be recognised, and those things are very important, and they matter to us, of course. Remember, we're the people that have the relationship with the students. We were the ones on the streets protesting the fees. We're the ones who care about that kind of thing, and our job is education. And your learning is at the heart of what we do and why we're here. So that does matter. But in a way, those are questions for the university. The contract is with the university. The university is legally obliged to make sure that you get your degrees. So they've got to bring it. If they cause, well, let's put it this way, if they cause the boycott to continue in any way or to be reignited, then they also have to find the solution to make sure that you get what you need. At the end of the day, it's not only the university's core business, it's the bit of our job that we love the most, is that engagement with students and the relationship between students learning and our research.
I think I'd like to go back also just to revisiting how the decision was made to do a marking boycott and not a strike. Sure. Would you mind elaborating on that a little more?
Yeah, absolutely. We were balloted on whether we would take part in a strike or a marking boycott. That is to say, a decision was made in advance that we would have two tools that we could use. What was then decided was a marking boycott is going to be more effective in terms of putting pressure on the negotiating process to make sure that that they had behaved with integrity. Because a series of strikes causes quite significant damage to curricula without necessarily forcing that hand. But something that is ongoing and continuous is more likely to do that. So that's why that decision was made. What we then said also was that we would use strikes if universities started to threaten to dock 100% of pay. And we're in the process of deciding whether to do that, whether to actually go out, strike all out, and of course it would be a national strike if that happened. But that was put as a backup, as a way of saying, hang on a minute, if you decide to do this, we will then go further. But my feeling is that a strike is more a gesture. It's more a way of going out and banging a drum and speaking down a megaphone and making a point. But it comes and goes quickly, doesn't put the pressure on, and causes quite a lot of disruption, especially if you have 2 or 3 days of strike.
But you said that the UCU were balloted on whether to do a marking boycott or a strike.
Yeah.
How?
Not either or.
No, not either or, but which, Yeah. But what other possibilities has UCU explored? Have they, you can see the impact that it is having on students. Have they thought of any other alternatives that would, instead of damaging a student's education, be able to hit the university?
We've looked at all possibilities. And anything that you look at, any other alternative you look at, you can find nothing that would have any impact. There are certain things about, withdrawing administration. But again, what administration? The most effective administration we could withdraw is handing in marks. So we could still do the marks, but not process them. Like I say, you've got to go to in any industrial action, you have to go to the core of the business to put a brake on in a way that affects mine. So it's not as if we haven't thought about anything else. It's not as if we say, we'll go for the students because it's the easiest, softest target. It genuinely is the most effective way of doing something. It's difficult, of course, because, as I said before, within that, we need student support. So we need to maintain that dialogue and communication to sustain that and to explain why we're doing what we're doing.
You said that you've already said earlier, you acknowledged that it would affect different students differently to withhold their assessment. So I don't think that can be a grounds for choosing not to strike in favour of a marking boycott.
I think that it's exactly the same, because I have less seminars, but I have more marking. So someone who just has exams and doesn't have essays and things, I really don't think it would affect them half as much.
But we have to look at what's most effective, and a strike, as I say, a strike is really a kind of public declaration. In and of itself, it won't put on pressure unless you take a weak strike. And we've seriously talked about that. We talked about an indefinite strike, where we simply, because if they're going to stop paying us by 100%, we're going to stop coming in. What will be very interesting, of course, is that if they dock us by 25% backdated to the beginning of November, how much of that work have we been doing voluntarily and they haven't told us yet? You know, that's also interesting. But if we can cause disruption at the heart of the university, they will listen more seriously than compared to how they've been ignoring us for 2 years on the matter.
What else is there? What else could be done that doesn't affect students? Is there, why is it not a research boycott, especially for an institution which prides itself on research-led teaching?
Yeah. This arises every time, and I think you have to understand that a research boycott will have absolutely no impact at all. Effectively, what you're saying is, please don't promote me. And they'll say, yeah, great, well, that saves us some money. Why would we give that to them? If we could find a way of doing that, if we could find a way of targeting another aspect of the business, we certainly would do. There's no pleasure in students being affected by anything.
So thank you all so much for giving up your time to be here today, and a special thank you to Mark for joining us and letting us grill him. So thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Since this debate, the boycott has now been lifted.
And now for this week's essential question, where Christie's been out and about in the Union, finding out what Leeds students think of the new British craze of Black Friday.
Hiya, I'm Christy. The essential question for today is we're going to be asking everyone around the Union if they think the positives of Black Friday, if all the sales and all the money saving outweighs the negatives of people who've been acting like animals in stores across the UK with many violent attacks happening. Okay, so what do you think about Black Friday? Do you think it's really good because of all the sales and the bargains, or do you think it should be scrapped because of all the violence that's happened at stores across the UK?
I don't think it should be scrapped, but it's sort of, people need to moderate themselves. Like at the end of the day, it's just a good bargain.
Yeah.
You can get them pretty much wherever you go all year round if you look in the right places.
So how do you think it could be more moderated? Do you reckon there could be maybe it could just be online and not in the stores or something like that, or how do you think they would?
I mean, online would definitely be a good thing, because I mean you wouldn't get any of the carnage of people being trampled or whatnot. But if people want to go and it's really just down to the people to sort of show respect for one another.
I definitely think the negatives outweigh the positives. It's just too much, and it's not all the kind of commotion that goes on isn't worth the discounts you're getting.
Yeah.
Might as well wait till Cyber Monday, because you're getting better discounts then anyways.
Yeah. What do you think about Black Friday? Do you think it's really good because of all the sales and all the shops, all the bargains everyone's been able to get, or do you think the violence outweighs, the negatives outweigh the positives?
All right. I think the violence is a bit ridiculous. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I think most stores have good sales anyway, especially for students. So, if it's an extra 10 or 20% off, it's not really, I don't know, I wouldn't camp out all night just for that.
So you think people are basically making a fuss over nothing, just an excuse to go a bit crazy, basically?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, some people might be a bit tighter than others, but I don't think it's worth all the hassle.
I didn't really know that it was a thing in the UK until this year, and I think businesses should discourage it because, it's just 20 quid off a TV and you got punched in the face and women were crying, and I don't think it's worth doing it. Especially and as a student, it doesn't make a difference for me because it's not like I get paid every month.
I didn't really know what Black Friday was, to be honest. I didn't think it was in the UK as well. I just think as an American thing it seems quite negative.
So do you think we need to, because obviously all the violence that's happened, do you think we should stop it, or do you think that with the sales and everything it should be carried on?
I think we should just stop it. Anything to do with the horrible capitalism of America, it's just, I don't know, I think it's kind of not worth it.
I think that the negatives definitely outweigh the positives, because it's, I think that people acting like that over stuff, just, the kind of things that go on sale are just they're not essentials or anything, they're just leisure items and stuff. So people going that over the top over leisure items, and every time they do Black Friday, they know it's going to happen. That things are going to kick off and things are going to get crazy.
What's your opinion on Black Friday then?
I actually think it's really horrible, like mass consumerism, and people kind of, it's not something to celebrate, like how desperately people want objects and things over other people. You know, like there's been a lot of media about people being mean or like pushing other people over.
Do you think it's basically materialistic and we should just scrap it basically?
Yeah, it's not really a thing. Like if the whole thing's about Christmas, then for me, like for a lot of people, that's about Jesus. Like that's like the very opposite of what Christmas is about.
And now Zara with this week's weather.
Hello, my name is Zara Khan, and this week's weather. Wednesday is going to see highs of 5 degrees Celsius and lows of 3 degrees Celsius, with pretty clear skies. Thursday is going to continue on with the same trend of highs of 6 degrees Celsius and lows of 2 degrees Celsius. Friday is going to be a bit more chilly, with 5 degrees Celsius being the highest and 1 being the lowest. The weekend's continuing on the same trend, but it seems to be raining that weekend a lot. So bring your raincoats and umbrellas around. This has been Zara Khan, and that's your weather update.
Well, that's about it from The Essential this week, but whether you have a news story for us or just want to go back and watch some old stories, you can go to lstv.co.uk/The Essential.
Alternatively, you can tweet us at LSTV The Essential. But for now, remember, if it's going on,
in,
or around your union, it's essential.
The Essential on LSTV live broadcast there, filling you in on everything that's going on in and around your uni.
Yeah,
We mentioned Black Friday in The Essential.
So what do you think about Black Friday, Carl? What is your thoughts on the matter?
I don't know. I like cheap prices, but I'm not so keen on all the violence.
Yeah, I do think it's something that I was very happy when it was over the pond in America. I really liked it when it was over there. And now that it's sort of creeping across the pond and everyone's getting a bit violent, getting a bit fighting over stuff, I just think that it's really not what the sort of whole season and holiday is really about, and it sucks, really.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I can't argue with my new Xbox One, so...
That's a good point.
There you
Okay,
go.
so, do you like to laugh, Kyle?
Yes, I do like to laugh.
So, coming up now, we have the highlights from the Tea Lights. The Leeds Tea Lights are a comedy group in Leeds, and this is a highlight reel from their latest show.
Wondered what it'd be like to have Spotify Premium?
Now you can find out with our free 30-day trial. For 30 wonderful days, you have full ad-free access to pretty much all the world's recorded music on your computer and your cell phone. Any track, anytime. Just click the banner to try Spotify Premium for free. You've got nothing to lose but the ads.
Sorry, did you say cat?
Yes, that's what I said. Cat.
Okay. That's a person.
No. This is my cat. You know, you're a vet, then you know a cat when you see one. Sorry.
Meow. No, that's definitely a Homo sapien.
No. This is Felix, my cat. He sleeps on my face every night. It's Felix. Felix, my cat. I love him to bits. It's Felix.
He's right, Billy. What's a cat? I'm a 36-year-old man.
How long have you been lying to me like this?
There's more, Billy.
What?
I'm your real father.
What?
There's more, Billy. You know your father, Chewie? Yeah. He's actually a cat. No. Your whole life's been a lie, Billy. Your sister's a Gloucester old spot pig and your mother's an ocelot.
What am I supposed to do now?
Well, Chewie's raised you like his own son, admittedly with some awkward difficulties at parents' evenings. I've enjoyed sleeping on the sofa for 20 hours a day, pissing on the carpet and licking my own balls for the best part of 15 years. I don't see why we can't just carry on.
You're right, Felix. I love you.
Oh, purr. Get out!
Hello and welcome back to LSTV. That was the highlights of the Leeds Tea Lights. Extremely funny guys there.
Hilarious.
I'm definitely going to go and see him next time they're in Leeds. So Carl, bit of a personal question, but what was in your calendar, Christmas calendar this morning? What was the picture inside, or chocolate?
That is a
so to
personal
speak?
question. Okay. Just a bit of an admission. I don't have one.
You don't have a calendar?
I don't have one this year.
I've
no.
got two. I would give you one, but I like them both.
So I've got none of you've got two.
Yeah, inside mine this morning was a fairy, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it's actually Christmas related or not, but I think that we'll go with that. Anyway, so coming up next, we have an interview with Hudson Taylor, who a duo who've played in Leeds Arena recently. Fun fact about Hudson Taylor: I actually saw them when they were called Harry and Alfie before they changed their name.
I like Hudson Taylor better, I'll be honest. I think it's a bit more catchy.
Well, I saw them when they were a lot smaller and a lot good, but they are fantastic. So we've got an interview and a session from Hudson Taylor next. So
The room's filled with fangirls, by the way, so if you... Here it is.
Hey guys, welcome. This is Peter here today, and I am talking to Hudson Taylor. How are you guys doing today?
Very good, Peter.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys as well. So basically, you guys just played upstairs. You did an absolutely awesome set.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely killed it. How's the tour going so far?
Oh, it's going great. Like, we've been to, this is our 8th university so far. All of them have been different. We've never really seen any UK universities.
It's not a conventional tour. It's the coffee house session. So it's basically you're going to the student unions of the different universities around the UK and playing to people who are chilling out, having a coffee or a beer or having. And we just sort of get up and play a few tunes. It's really cool. It's a really great experience to go and see the parts of the UK that you don't normally kind of get to see. Normally it's just the main cities. Obviously Leeds is the main city, but it's nice to actually go into the universities.
And your style of music really fits in well with that sort of atmosphere I found. So spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually we're with a band, so this is actually quite like, we haven't gigged live, just the two of us, in quite a long time, surprisingly, even though, we're Hudson Taylor or whatever, it's like, we usually have a band behind us, so it's different, like stripping it back and stuff, it's really fun, it's been really, really good tour.
Yeah, it's a unique experience to be able to do that, and sort of, like I think for you guys especially, you can sort of go back to your roots.
Yeah.
Like, have you found that?
Yeah, absolutely, and just take things down a notch, because, I mean, sometimes when you're doing festivals and stuff, it's, we try and keep it as upbeat as possible to kind of get people dancing and get people moving, because that's what you want at a festival, I suppose.
Yeah,
so it's really nice to kind of make it a little bit more chilled, and just have a blast.
And I heard this, you said this upstairs, and I thought I should mention it. You said that Leeds University is the best university you've been to so far. So why is that?
Oh, well,
a number of reasons.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons behind that. The food.
The food was fantastic. You were telling me before, and I believe this, that Leeds Union was voted the best union in the last recent kind of union.
Well, that's what got me to come here, so.
So totally, man. And you could tell that there was a real atmosphere up there.
Right.
Absolutely.
So how are you feeling about the ball? It's the party of the year. Like, I think they've.
Man, today up in the studio was cool, chill.
But yeah, we'll have the band with us and we'll bring it up a gear.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very excited to see your set there. But like I've heard that they've sold almost 5,500 tickets to give you guys an idea of what you're up against. And it's a ball. It's not a festival, it's a ball. Like, yeah, it's like a dance battle. Yeah. Talking like a Destiny's Child sort of thing. Like,
awesome,
yeah. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, we're ready for that.
Can you handle it? Yeah.
Thanks very much. It's lovely to be here. We're Hudson Taylor from Dublin. How are you doing, Leeds? This is the best crowd we've had so far. And I think the best university so far as well.
Also, guys, have you been on a night out yet in Leeds?
In Leeds? Yeah.
Because that's the classic. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, I've definitely been out on the night in Leeds. Yeah. Oh, actually, when we did the Codeline tour, we were here and we were down in the old bar. Obviously, that's just
wasn't a crazy night out. It
wasn't that mad now, but it was. It was, as mad as as you can do, then you have to leave to go to the next place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Old Bar's always good for just a really good chill and just.
Really nice chill, but I think a night out in Leeds is definitely on the cards.
Yeah, definitely. You'll have to go out after the ball.
Look, the ball is going to be a mad crack. Like we'll be having a few pints then, I'd say. So see you there.
We might even wear suits.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. So before your performance was absolutely sensational. I really enjoyed it, and I was actually looking into you guys, and one thing that's really stood out was the fact that your debut EP actually went #1 on iTunes in Ireland.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's obviously you guys are so talented. So how did those talents sort of develop?
Oh well, we'd been writing a load of songs, and the first EP, Battles, we'd written that song and written a couple other songs about it, and we'd no music out really at that time, so we wanted to put out an EP. So we set up our own label and put it out, and we had like a nice group of people kind of who liked our music and who followed our music, who really helped out with that.
That EP was really important to us because it sort of really was like a good benchmark for what we can achieve, and that was on our own. So it also just kind of whetted the appetites of some of the record labels who then in turn started to be interested, and and then suddenly you have your financial backing, and then you can go and do what you love to do, which for us is tour.
So the Battles EP is really what started us, what really got us signed. Polydor kind of picked up on it and signed us up then after that, and
And I also noticed are you re-releasing it, the 2014 version?
We are.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
You're very well informed. Yeah.
So this is the new version that we're releasing on the 15th of June for the album. It's the album single, and it's got a few plays on the radio and stuff, which is really exciting.
It was like saying Noah's hottest track.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which was
So
crazy.
that's going to come out with a new EP, so Battles EP 2, with the single which got produced with a guy called Ian Archer, and it was collaboratively done with another guy called Danton Supple. But then the other songs on the EP, we produced them ourselves in Alfie's house, so that's a really good thing.
Yeah, and the reason why we wanted to kind of release Battles as a single, because we released it like 2 years ago, we want to release it again coming up to our album, is because, I don't know, we play it at every gig.
It's a consistent song. We've played it ever since that day that we released it, and previous to that, and we always play it as like the kind of towards the end of the set, like one of the big,
So we wanted to give it a chance because we're going into festival season and it usually gets people dancing, so we were like, let's release that and have another couple of months at it, and really
So it's sort of like
I mean, the most exciting thing about getting an album out there is it's going to be 12 songs that
define Hudson Taylor, and
because an EP is 4 tracks, and you can get into an EP, but it doesn't necessarily define our sound.
And even though the culture is such that everybody always like buys singles nowadays, and it's all about singles, people still like to have like an album. It's like a real kind of ownership thing. It feels like a body of work that they can kind of put on their car and listen to for 45 minutes. And so we're really looking forward for people to actually have that for the Hudson Taylor.
And like Leeds Ball, here we come.
Here we come, Leeds Ball. Yeah.
Thanks for that, guys.
Thank you.
So I'm just sitting here with Alfie and Harry, and sweet guys. Thanks.
Nice. See you at the ball.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Good night.
Welcome back to the live broadcast on LSTV. That was the Hudson Taylor interview.
I'm just such a big fan.
We've had to calm down Barnaby because he had a bit of a crisis there while that was on.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely fantastic. It was so riveting, and they are absolutely fantastic, and I think they're going to be playing again in Leeds within the next year, if I know
assume
right.
so, yeah. Right, coming up next.
We have a little bit of a funny expose on the trolleybus service in Leeds.
I guess you could call it
amusing.
Ah!
We're going to lose our jobs.
Yeah, we're not going to be employed for long. Headlines and punchlines.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. We're going to look at basically the trolleybus service in Leeds, try and make you laugh, and hopefully we will.
Yeah, it's not easy to make me laugh, so.
It should be pretty good. Anyway, Carl is still rocking his Christmas jumper.
I'm not exactly going to take it off, am I? I can't just go, oh, sorry,
It's very
Barnaby.
tasteful. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I had a comment that it wasn't a Christmas jumper because it's too trendy, so.
Okay, so coming up now is our funny expose on the trolleybus service in Leeds.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Essential. I'm Joe Foley.
I'm Joe Randleson.
Our top story this week, we're following up on the trolleybus saga with our second instalment, finding out what business really think of this new trolley bus.
And in other news, nibs, or news in brief, actually we seem to be struggling for news stories this week as Leeds University Union website seems to have crashed and Leeds City Council seems to have run out of press releases. Anyway, I'm just receiving some breaking news and the latest development in the trolley bus story. We're going to have to run to the story ourselves and cover this.
Let's go! How long do we run for?
Apologies for the technical difficulties there. You join me live in Hyde Park for the latest development on the trolley bus story. A new record shop has opened up in the 5 shops that are penciled in to be closed down in the area. I bring in our expert on the trolley bus, Becca Higginson, who can tell us more on this. So Becca, a new record shop has opened up in the area. What do you think it will bring and why have they opened it? So Becca, our trolley bus expert, why this move for the record shop?
Hi Joe, I think it's probably to do with the money that they might bring in.
Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Now we've got that update from Rebecca. We're going to find out what the people think about this new trolley bus.
Have you heard of the trolley bus?
No, I've no idea what that is.
Yeah, no, I think it's a waste of money, to be honest. I mean, 3 minutes, just get an earlier bus. Or bring a car up or walk. Stay.
Well, I mean, if you explain it a little bit more, I don't quite know enough about it, I'm afraid.
Have you heard about the trolley bus scheme?
No. To be honest, I hadn't heard about it until you guys told me. So, well done on your part. I'm now better informed. And,
Do you think students would use it?
I wouldn't, to be honest. I've got my car.
Public transport is great. I think it's if I'm honest. Like,
do you think a trolley bus would be a waste of money then? Like, spend money on...
Oh, a trolley bus?
Yeah.
Absolutely dreadful. Terrible idea. Don't do it.
What's a trolley bus?
The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long.
So here we can see stages of the trolley bus development. This is something that's going to be gripping through the heart of the city. It's affecting many people.
This is the proposed route for the new trolley bus. These bins will all have to be destroyed.
Hello and welcome back to the LSTV live broadcast. We're getting very festive here. Despite the utter and complete complaints of Zara, we're getting our festive jumpers on. Carl seems to have disappeared. I don't know where he is. We kicked him off because his last jumper was just too tasteful.
You're right. Look at that.
What are you wearing?
It's offensively Christmassy, I must say.
You are disgustingly Christmassy right now. That is absolutely fantastic. So we're getting really into the festive spirit here, aren't we?
Yes. Early in December as well. I love how as soon as December starts, it's Christmas.
Well, that's the way to go. That's why we have calendars. So you know, as soon as you open that first door, I'm allowed to wear my Christmas jumpers now.
This whole myth that Christmas is only on the 25th is ridiculous, because it's not, is it?
Absolutely ridiculous.
First to the 25th, or would you say it ends on the 26th, because you still got your tree up
Yeah,
there,
Boxing Day's pretty Christmassy. Anyway,
Yeah.
so coming up next on LSTV, well, in other news, we have In Other News.
Oh, you've been planning that for hours and it hurts.
I have, and it's a brilliant joke. So yeah, this is a sort of banterific look at the news, basically.
You actually just said banterific.
I did, and I don't regret a single thing.
Good afternoon and welcome to another news. Or for our Yorkshire viewers, welcome to News.
And for our North Korean viewers, welcome to... Leeds University Union has recently hosted a music video competition where competitors can show off their video making abilities. This competition is also known as the Leadership Race.
It's only 6 months until the final Scottish referendum vote, and so we thought we would catch up with our Scottish correspondent in the field. What are the feelings on the ground?
No, it feels like grass, mate.
No, I mean, what are the feelings amongst the Scottish community?
How do you think we're feeling? We're bloody freezing and drenched.
No, I mean independence.
All right, why didn't you say so? Terry's feeling really independent down the road. He just moved out of his parents' house.
No, the referendum.
Oh, that thing. Oh, it doesn't matter because I'm actually English.
You know what? I'm done with this. I can't believe we picked fucking Rapsy Nesbitt for this. I'm done. You know, I'd rather work on the fucking one show than do this. Right, so I'm off. Goodbye.
And that's the news.
we're back on LSTV in our offensively Christmassy jumpers, and that was in other news.
It was brilliant, very funny there. I had a little giggle. There was a giggle. I had a little giggle, maybe. Anyway, there was some disgusting accents on there.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I can't deal with that. We're gonna have to have a word with her.
Definitely have a word with her afterwards. We'll keep these jumpers on, nice and intimidating, if you ask me.
Is it though?
Yes. If I saw two guys
Christmas.
walking down the street dressed like this, I would be scared.
Yeah, just for your own safety. You don't. They're unhinged if they're wearing jumpers like these.
Completely unhinged, definitely, indeed.
Right, coming up next, we've got a very. We're shifting to a more serious note now, aren't
Yeah,
we?
I'm sort of flipping over the leaf of seriousness.
It's a drama based on a school shooting, or school shootings. It's a very serious thing. It's thought-provoking.
Yeah, it's a very inspiring piece. It's a drama. It's sort of inspired by the fact there's been a lot of shootings in America recently and over the last 10 or so years. So it's going to be very thought-provoking. Complete change from in other news. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you've got your hats on. Get your tissues ready. Whatever you need.
Yeah, make sure you've got your hats on.
Can you start by telling me a bit about yourself?
What is there to tell? We only care about one thing.
Well, what about your childhood then, your upbringing?
So you can justify what happened. That's your problem. That's everyone's problem. There has to be a reason, right? I must have had some terrible incident in my childhood to make this happen. You ever thought that maybe I just wanted to do the world a favour?
That's not what... Do the world a favour?
Yeah, a favour. It's Pandora's box, isn't it? The world is full of evils. I just wanted to get rid of a few of them. I'm Hope, sat at the bottom of the box, waiting for the penny to drop. Just waiting for everyone to realise.
To realise what?
What I've done. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue. You don't understand, do you?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
You'll never understand. That's okay. People will, eventually. People will thank me. It's all about the progress. Making steps to remove the problem.
The problem being 6 people.
No, of course not. That's just the start.
Why? People will want to know why. Families deserve to know why. You don't just wake up one morning and decide to do what you did.
You don't. And you know that for a fact, would you?
Oh, no, obviously not.
You'll never understand.
Try and make me. That's why I'm here. This is your chance to tell me your story.
Don't try and justify it. There isn't a way for you to understand. You'll never be one of us.
One of us.
One of us. One of the forgotten. At least, now they all know who I am.
Who's they? They had their whole lives ahead of them.
Exactly.
My name is Dominique Alexander. I died on the 16th of January 2014. I was going to be a human rights lawyer.
My name is Sam Oliver. I was murdered on the 16th of January 2014. My mum was no one else.
My name is Laura Kennedy. I died on the 16th of January 2014. I wasn't ready to go.
My name is Melissa Fenlon. I was killed on the 16th of January 2014. I should have helped them.
My name is Chris Harris. I was murdered on the 16th of January. I had barely started.
My name is Olivia Layden. It all ended on the 16th of January. I was so scared.
My name is Daniel Margate. On the 16th of January, I saved her.
My name is Helen Kelly, and I'm only just getting started.
Original student drama there on the LSTV live broadcast. We had our hats on. Hope you did too.
We did.
Get your hat on, Barnaby.
Got my hat on, Carl, as you can probably quite happily see there. I have my hat on.
Right, we've put our hats on, but I've shed my Christmas jumper. It was just
I'm
a bit.
keeping my Christmas jumper. I'm feeling very festive. So, Carl, what is like the number one thing that you want for Christmas this year?
Realistically?
Yes, I would say realistically.
Okay, so not a car then. I'd say toys for my Xbox One, because I've just bought one. So,
oh, really? Oh, fantastic.
So
Fair enough.
I want to connect and new games and everything. If you're watching...
If you're watching, it's what Carl wants for Christmas.
Yes. What do you want for Christmas?
I'd say just anything really. Bit of money. I'm quite poor at the moment.
You're the worst type of person to buy
No,
for,
I'm
because you're like, what does Barnaby want for Christmas? He said anything, and then you don't know what to get him. Right, well, moving on from you. Coming up next on LSTV, we've got a documentary on a man with forks for hands.
Yeah, Edward Macaroni Fork. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Rex is an 18-year-old boy who just wants to be like all other 18-year-old boys. But that isn't possible for Rex, because Rex has forks for his hands. He currently works as a rubbish collector, a job he finds extremely challenging as a result of his condition. In fact, there are many everyday things that Rex struggles with due to his disability.
Rex, catch! Oh, I thought this would happen. For fork's sake! Oh, for fork's sake!
Well, that's unfortunate.
Even simple tasks such as brushing his teeth are almost impossible for Rex. Luckily for him, girlfriend Kerry has a very special understanding of what he's going through.
Excuse me, guys. Guys!
If you'd just like to start off by telling us about both your conditions.
Well, we both suffer from a rare condition where our hands are cutlery. I'm fork-based and this lovely lady's knife-based.
No, I'm taking...
Yeah, it's horrible. We were just born through it.
Yeah.
It was for you. It was really unfortunate. When I found out, obviously, when I got older, I thought it would ruin my knife, but we then found each other. So.
It was one glorious autumn day, and Kerry dropped her keys, and of course she couldn't really pick them up because she's got knives for hands, and I swept in with my glorious forks, and ever since then, just a match made in heaven.
So what does the future hold for you guys now then?
Well, me and Rex, we are interested in having children, but obviously we've got to think of them, and if we don't want them to have knives and forks for hands as well, so we need to speak to the doctors first and see what could happen.
Because there are risks. I mean, you know, tongs, perfect. Loads of people need tongs, you know, picking things up all over the place. But normally, you know, 5 out of 7 times, whisks. If someone's got fork and knives, you get whisks. Whisks only good for whisking eggs. What do you have now? Electric whiskers. It's no good, is it? So we can't be selfish because we've been through a lot. We don't want to burden that onto someone else.
Welcome back to LSTV. We are going to have to go soon, which makes us really sad. But before we leave, Carl, what do you think of that? What would you do if you had forks for hands?
Oh, wouldn't it be really difficult? Like soup day would be awful, and you
soup day would be awful.
But then again, whenever people need their back scratched, you'd be the one they call. So.
Yeah, but you could make a business out of it. Back scratches are us, but it's just you with your fork hands. Wouldn't it get a bit boring?
Why would you be the only one who could make a business out of that?
That's a very good point, Carl.
It's a no from me, Barnaby.
It's a no from you, really.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have back scratches are us with forks for hands, people.
No.
That's absolutely devastating. Anyway, so this is possibly the last time we're going to see you this year here on LSTV.
Yeah. Well, the show will be back next week, though, for the Christmas edition.
Christmas special. It's going to be even more festive than me and Carl here in our great little jumpers and hats.
Imagine how difficult that is, but it's going to happen.
I can't believe that they're going to try and out-festive us. I think they might have tinsel, actually. If they've got tinsel, they've got a real strong shout.
Well, it'll be back here, right here, this place, next week, Wednesday, LSTV Live. But for now, get your hats on!